I'm Salvatore Vitale. I was born in Palermo, but I'm based in Switzerland. I'm an artist, the editor-in-chief of Yet magazine, and I'm an educator. How to Secure a Country is a body of work that I developed in the last 5 years. It's a visual research, mainly. It starts from a very personal experience, my position into the Swiss culture and nation. Since I moved there some years ago, and then there was this votation against the massive immigration, I started to feel like a guest after many years living there. And so I questioned myself, where does this kind of closeness comes from? And then I found out that security was some sort of keyword. And so I decided to start this very long journey into the security system of the so-called safest country in the world, showing the system itself. So who creates security, who participate in this big game, and how does it look like, the place where security happens. So at the end I decided to use this sort of, in a way, aesthetic, commercial, or we can call it, yes, contemporary documentary way of showing it. So underlining also the Swissness behind it. So the emptiness, the almost clinical and elusive nature even of the structures and the places where this happens, this abstract somehow entity that is, is present in everyday life, but we don't always see it. What I learned at the end is that the system works because it's like a chain, and every piece of the chain knows what happens before and after them. So it's very like one of the main things, one of the main features that make it so efficient is the fact that there is a protocol for everything. So this topic of the protocol and instructions is also one of the key points that makes the system work. Gaining access was, probably one of the hardest things at the beginning, because I mean, you're no one. You write an email, I want to do a project about the security in the country. Can you please host me? Or can you please welcome me to photography your institution? So, of course, I tried something like that, but it didn't work. At the end, a winning strategy was creating the network beforehand. So I started to try to understand who could help me in this. So for instance, this collaboration I started also with academic institution, where of course something that helped me a lot. And then slowly I managed to gain some trust. I met some right persons and I managed to access. And it was very beautiful for me, because the first institution that opened their doors for me, its doors for me were the border police. So I started from the front line. There's this picture I shot of a migration control in the border, in the Swiss-Italian border. And you see like the ends, this migrant, Eritrean young guy that is being controlled. So his fingerprints is being registered to ask for the political asylum. I wasn't really allowed to be there, to enter, because then they were doing controls like where you can't really be there because many reasons. But I managed to take this picture very quickly, let's say. And afterwards I had the chance to speak both with this guy and the border guard. I heard the same story by the two opposite points of view. And then probably at that time I really understood a little bit more about modern times and the kind of geopolitical situation we are living nowadays. And so that picture, yes, is part of this project, but it says much more to me. For me, it's very important to say something that relates to the world we live in, and also that kind of foster at least some, first of all, self-awareness, but also a dialogue, a discussion with a possible audience. Well, yeah, my work is so complex and there's so many layers. that it's always interesting to see how someone else somehow sees it and reads it. So for me it's very interesting to see how it's going to appear in a publication, of course, because of course, as you say, it's very different than exhibiting the work, but at the same time, I mean, it would be interesting to find a way or to exhibit it in a way that it can reflect somehow the nature itself of the work. So maybe creating also some sort of experiential situation or setting. And yeah, I think that it's very doable, and it's going to be exciting to also to rely on Foam team in order to see what is going to be the final output.